Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great-Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Willard Waterman stars in an episode of The Great-Gildersleeve from July 2nd, 1952. And with the 4th of July just around the corner, there's a big 4th of July event coming up in Summerfield. Gildy wants to give a speech.
The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great-Gildersleeve. The Great-Gildersleeve is brought to you, partially transcribed, by the Kraft Foods Company. The Great-Gildersleeve has never plunged into the sea of matrimony, but he does like to dangle his toes in the water once in a while. A few days ago, he met a Miss Gloria McKinley, manager of the complaint department at Hogan Brothers. He hasn't had a date with her yet, but this afternoon, he has persuaded her to let him drive her home from work. Accordingly, we find him parked in front of the store with his motor running.
I better leave it running, too. That policeman in the corner has his eye on me, and I'm parked in a loading zone. Well, I'm waiting to pick up a pretty little package. Right, George, I want to make a good impression on her. Should have washed the car. I didn't notice Leroy written in the dust on the hood. Oh, well.
You, Gildy!
Uh-oh, Judge Hooker. He would have to show up.
Gildy, you're in a loading zone.
I know it, Judge.
And your motor's running.
I know that, too.
Why don't you turn it off before it boils over?
Well, it is beginning to steam.
You better start it up again, Gildy. You're too close to the fire plug.
Oh, my goodness. The only backseat driver I ever saw who stands on the curb.
Are you waiting for somebody?
Judge, I'm not just sitting here trying to run out of gas.
Oh, I know. It's closing time, and I'll bet you're waiting for Miss McKinley. Do you have a date?
You bet. She's letting me drive her home.
Well, I guess she figures that's better than taking the bus.
Yes.
She can save a dime and make fewer stops. Unless you plan to stop and watch the sun setting behind the reservoir.
Judge, will you please go away?
As it happens, Gildy, I must. I'm going home and read my 4th of July speech. I'm orating at Kraft Park.
Well, I thought Congressman Greenhall was going to speak.
Well, he's leaving for the convention, and I'm reading the speech that he prepared.
Oh?
I suppose you'll be there to hear me?
There must be a better way to spend the 4th than listening to an old goat.
Gildy, I don't exactly relish the assignment. Miss Matterhorn is vacationing at Virginia Lakes, and I'd planned to go up there for the 4th.
Judge, I don't envy you reading somebody else's speech.
Well, if I don't like what the congressman has written, I can always preface it by saying the views expressed in the speech do not necessarily represent the views of the speaker.
Step aside, Judge.
What?
Here comes Miss McKinley.
Oh, I'll open the door.
Judge, let me open it.
It's already open.
Busybody. Hello, Miss McKinley.
Sorry if I've kept you waiting, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Not at all. I've kept him entertained.
Judge, hop in, Miss McKinley.
Oh, thank you.
Judge, you may now close the door.
Well, aren't you going to introduce me?
Oh, all right. Miss McKinley, may I present Judge Hooker?
How do you do, Judge?
This is a rare pleasure, Miss McKinley.
Look at him bow. If he isn't careful, he'll bump his head on the running board. Goodbye, Judge.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Judge.
I told you goodbye, Gildy. Why don't you go?
Yes. Come on, car.
Could your car be out of gas?
Oh, the water commissioner doesn't burn gas. He burns water.
Oh, Judge.
Darn car would have to embarrass me at a time like this.
My, what a noisy car.
Goodbye, Judge.
Why don't you bring it to the park on the 4th and we'll use it instead of firecrackers?
Poor comedian.
Is Judge Hooker a friend of yours?
He poses as one.
Well, all in one afternoon, I've met a distinguished judge, and I'm being driven home by the city water commissioner.
Well, Miss McKinley, you'd be riding in a new car if this wasn't election year. You've heard the cracks about freezers and fur coats and stuff like that, I guess.
Uh-huh. You men in the public eye have so many things to think about.
Well, scarcely a day goes by that I don't think about something.
I've always wondered what important men talk about.
So have I. Oh! You mean the judge and me?
Of course. Oh, you don't have to be so modest, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, thank you.
Well, now, what problems were you two men wrestling with?
Nothing important, really. When you came up, we were just discussing the 4th of July speech.
Oh, are you going to deliver the speech at the 4th of July celebration?
Me?
Oh, thrilling.
Well, anyway, that's what the judge and I were discussing.
And he was asking you to deliver the speech.
Well, no, not exactly, Miss McKinley. Originally, our congressman was supposed to make the speech.
Oh.
But he couldn't be here, so he had to ask somebody else.
So the congressman himself asked you. Are you a close friend of his, too?
Well, I voted for him. He helped put him in office, I mean.
How wonderful that he asked you to take his place. What are you going to say in front of all those people, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, frankly, I haven't given it much thought.
I don't suppose that's a problem to an experienced orator like you.
Well, you can be sure I'll come up with something. I wonder what I will come up with. So that's how it happened, Marjorie. Now I'm behind the 8 ball.
Unky, why did you lead her to believe you were going to make the speech?
I didn't. When a woman wants to believe something, she just believes it.
I got an idea, Unc.
What's that, Leroy?
Tell me you can't make the speech because you have laryngitis.
But I don't have laryngitis.
Go get your feet wet and catch it.
Leroy, don't be ridiculous.
I'm not even supposed to give the speech. That's Judge Hooker's job.
Why didn't you just tell her Judge Hooker was supposed to do it?
Well, she made it sound like such a big thing, I couldn't say no. She'll probably be sitting in the front row, and if I don't appear, she'll think I'm a braggart.
Yeah.
She'll think I'm just trying to attract attention to myself.
Yeah.
She'll lose respect for me.
Yeah.
She'll think I'm just a big...
Windbag?
Yeah. Leroy.
Well, just helping you out.
Yeah, well, don't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
What are you going to do, Unky?
Well, now that I'm in this deep, there's only one thing to do. Call her and tell her she made a mistake about the whole thing.
She made a mistake.
Well, she got the wrong impression. I'll tell her Judge Hooker is making the speech.
Oh, I think that's very wise, Unky.
You bet. She'll like me better if I tell her the truth. Yeah, I'll drive over and see her right now and clear up the situation.
Ah, get it!
All right, Bertie. If it's for me, I'm just leaving.
Yes, sir. Excuse me, President. One moment, please. It's you, Miss Gildersleeve.
Bertie, I said I was leaving.
Yes, sir, but this is a lady. And when there's a lady on the phone, I know you ain't going nowhere.
Oh, well. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. This is Gloria McKinley.
Miss McKinley? Oh, yes, Miss McKinley. Well, I was just thinking about you. There's something I want to talk to you about.
Oh, I hope you don't think it's terrible of me to phone you, but there's something I must talk to you about, too.
Good. Glad you called, but first let me clear up something about that 4th of July speech.
The speech of yours is what has me so excited. I've just had the most marvelous idea.
Oh?
Hogan Brothers is having a special 4th of July window display.
Fine. Now, about the speech.
I'm coming to that. I'm so thrilled about your making the speech. I'm having our art department put a sign in the store window.
The sign in the window?
Telling people not to miss the important address to be delivered in Craft Park by Commissioner Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve.
Zeke.
What?
Miss McKinley, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, it was nothing.
Yes, it was. You don't understand. Suppose I don't even make the speech.
But you said you were going to.
Now, wait a minute, Miss McKinley.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you weren't just leading me on, were you?
Miss McKinley, I'd never do that.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't. Now then, what did you want to talk to me about? You said there was something that needed clearing up.
Clearing up? Oh, yes. Well, it's a little cloudy. I hope the weather clears up so I can give that speech.
The sun is shining at my house.
It isn't shining over here.
This morning, Unc. You don't look so worried and wrinkled.
Leroy, I'm not wrinkled. And I do feel better this morning.
I don't get it. You meet a new girl, and the first time you take her out, you get yourself in a big hassle.
Yeah, I'm not in a hassle. I figured the whole thing out.
Yeah?
Judge Hooker doesn't want to make the 4th of July speech anyway. All I have to do is offer to make it for him. He'll be delighted. Then he can go to Virginia Lakes and see Miss Matterhorn.
He'd rather look at Miss Matterhorn than make a speech?
Well, there's no accounting for tastes. Yeah, I'm stopping here in the judge's office, my boy. See you later.
So long, huh?
Yeah, the judge's door is open. Look at him wave his arms. I wonder if he's practicing his speech or there's a bee in his office.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to preface my remarks by relating an amusing little anecdote.
Yeah, he's working on his speech, all right.
On the way to Craft Park this afternoon, I met two gentlemen named Pat and Mike.
Pat and Mike. Judge!
Pat said to Mike...
Judge, do you mind if I interrupt?
Oh, hello, Gildy. I was just rehearsing the opening of my 4th of July address.
Well, Judge, you can forget the speech.
What?
Yeah, I know your heart isn't in it. You'd rather go up and join Miss Matterhorn.
Well, the speech is knocking me out of the trip.
It doesn't have to. I've come to do you a big favor, old friend.
Oh?
I've decided to make the speech for you.
You have? Why?
Why? Well, Judge, don't ask silly questions. Just take advantage of my generous offer and hit the road.
Gildy, why are you so anxious to get me out of town? You must have a reason.
I'm only thinking of you and Miss Matterhorn. You know you want to be with her, and she wants to be with you.
Well, yes, she does. I had a card from her this morning saying, having wonderful time, wish you were here.
You see, Judge? Now get going and forget about the speech. Just hand it to me.
No, I'd better make the speech. The congressman asked me.
Well, you can ask me. Go ahead, ask me. I'll do it. In fact, I've got to do it.
I won't do that to our congressman.
Oop. You know I'm a better speaker than you are.
Is that so? I heard you speak at the Elks Club once, and even the stuffed elk got up and walked out.
The Great Gildersleeve will be back in just a minute.
July 2nd, 1952, The Great Gildersleeve on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Willard Waterman as The Great Gildersleeve, July 2nd, 1952.
Well, the great Gildersleeve was so anxious to impress his new girlfriend, Miss McKinley, that he was willing to let her believe he was making the important 4th of July address in Craft Park. Now, the water commissioner is in hot water.
The judge certainly did surprise me, Marjorie. He didn't care a thing about making the speech until he found out somebody else wanted to do it.
Well, that's a very human reaction, Unky.
Yeah, that's the trouble with the old goat. He's too human. He immediately suspected that I was up to something.
Weren't you?
Well, naturally. But what sort of a friend is he to accuse me of it?
Ain't you giving the speech, Miss Gildersleeve?
Apparently not, Bertie.
Yes, sir. But there's a sign in Hogan Brothers' window that says you are.
I know, Bertie.
It says here, Commissioner Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve speak on the 4th of July.
I saw that sign, Bertie, but it's misleading.
Then you're not reading the congressman's speech?
No, the congressman really asked the judge.
Because the congressman didn't want to?
Well, he wanted to, but he couldn't, Bertie.
Yes, ma'am.
And the judge didn't want to, but I do, so now he wants to.
Oh, yes, sir. I wonder if that speech knows who's going to make it.
What do you mean, Bertie?
Well, the congressman wanted to make it, but he couldn't, and the judge could and would, but he didn't want to. Then you come along and want to, but couldn't, because when you wanted the judge to give it up, he wouldn't.
Bertie, it isn't funny.
No, sir.
Unky, don't you think you should call Miss McKinley and tell her to take that sign out of the window?
Well, I'm going to phone the judge and give him one more chance to change his mind. I hate to crawl back to him and beg him, but beggars can't be choosers.
Hello? Judge Hooker speaking.
Hello, Judge. About that speech you don't want to give.
What about it, Gildy?
Well, I just wondered if you wouldn't reconsider.
I have reconsidered.
You have?
My answer is still no.
Oh, my goodness.
I saw that sign in Hogan Brothers' window.
Well, then you see, I have to make the speech or I'll be the laughing stock of the town.
Good. May I be the first to laugh? Now hang up, will you? I'm busy. I have a million things to do.
But
I have to study my lines, go to the barber shop, stop by the cleaners from a blue suit. The only one that I can wear for the speech.
Oh? You don't have another suit?
When I thought I was going to rough it at Virginia Lakes, I sent all my suits to the cleaners. They're rushing my blue serge for me.
Well, Judge. Horace. Old friend. If you're so busy, why don't I stop by and pick up your suit for you?
Would you do that for me, Gildy?
You bet. Naturally, I want to do anything I can to help make the 4th of July a success.
Well, Gildy, be sure to pick it up before 5. The cleaners are closed over the 4th.
Don't worry, Judge. You'll have something to wear.
Thank you, Gildy, old friend. I have to hang up now and get busy.
Yeah, I have to get busy, too. Goodbye, Judge.
Goodbye.
You don't seem the least bit upset about not getting to make the speech.
Oh, not a bit, my dear. Just imagine. The judge doesn't have a thing to wear tomorrow.
What's so funny? Unky, you are going to pick up the judge's suit, aren't you?
Sure. But there could be many a slip between the cleaners and Judge Hooker's house. Bertie!
Yes, sir?
Is Leroy's little blue suit up in the closet? Gildersleeve, you're pretty clever. Pretty clever the way you outfoxed the judge. Yeah, I had quite a time explaining why I didn't bring the suit by last night. Now it's too late for him to do anything about it. Oh, wait until he tries to put on Leroy's suit. And lucky for the old judge, I can step into the breach, though. Yeah, I can see Miss McKinley now, sitting in the front row in something summery, listening to me give the speech.
Well, Gildy, it's about time you got here.
Hello, Judge. Here's the suit in the bag.
All right, give it to me.
Don't be so impatient, Judge.
If you'll excuse me, I'll slip into the next room. I want to dress and rehearse my speech in front of the mirror.
Oh, brother. Wait until he sees himself in that suit.
If you hadn't shown up with this suit, I'd have had to leave for Virginia Lakes. I certainly couldn't make the speech in my bathing suit.
Well, your barber pole swimsuit covers you pretty well, Judge.
I can't see very well in here. Gildy, are you sure this is my suit?
It's blue serge.
That's funny. Feels awfully small.
And maybe you've gained weight, Judge.
I might have gained a couple of pounds, but I know I haven't grown this much. Why, the pants cuffs come clear up to my knees.
They do?
Yeah. Everything shrunk. Gildy, come in here and look at this.
I'd like to.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness. Judge, you can't stand up in public like that.
Stand up? I can't even sit down.
Judge, don't try it.
I can't bend. See?
Oh! Leroy's suit. Bertie, how's my new suit? I'm going to need it.
It's pressed and in the closet. Are you making a speech?
You bet. The judge is on his way to Virginia Lakes.
Yes, sir.
You should have seen him trying to squeeze into Leroy's pants.
Yes, sir. Where's Leroy's suit now?
Well, I'll have to buy him a new one. But it was worth it. I sure tricked the old judge.
Yes, sir, but this ain't April Fool's Day, you know.
What's this, Bertie?
This is the 4th of July, and that's Independence Day. It ain't April Fool's Day.
Now, Bertie.
The judge don't get to speak, and Leroy lost his pants, but that don't make it April Fool's Day. This is Independence Day, and you don't fool around with independence.
You're all right.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you know why you don't play April Fool jokes on the 4th of July?
Yes,
that's
Bertie.
right, because it's Independence Day, and you don't fool around with independence.
Good old Bertie. She takes Independence Day pretty seriously. Well, I do, too. That's why I want to be with Miss McKinley. She seems to like big shots, and by George, that's exactly what I am. I'll mesmerize her with my speech, and then take her to the hot dog stand. Never mind, Bertie. I'm right here. Wonder who that is. Hope the judge didn't decide to come back and speak in his bathing suit.
Hello, Throckmorton.
Miss McKinley. I didn't expect to see you. Come in.
Oh, I haven't time. I just stopped by on my way out of town.
Out of town?
But I just couldn't leave without wishing you luck with your speech today.
Miss McKinley, you're not going to be there?
Oh, didn't I tell you? I'm going to Hogan Brothers' 4th of July picnic with the assistant manager.
Gildersleeve just got the legs cut out from under him with this young lady. July 2nd, 1952, Willard Waterman is the great Gildersleeve. The conclusion follows these words on your favorite radio station.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of Willard Waterman is The Great Gildersleeve. July 2nd, 1952. Gildy just found out his girl's going away.
Assistant manager? But I thought you wanted to hear me speak.
Oh, I do, but I can't afford to offend the assistant manager.
You can't?
Mr. Gildersleeve, he's an important man.
But what about me?
Oh, you can read me the speech some other time. Goodbye now, and I'll be thinking about you every minute.
Big help.
When are you leaving for the park, Unc?
Oh, I don't care whether I go or not, Leroy. Somehow my heart isn't in reading the speech.
Well, gosh, you sure worked enough angles to get the chance.
Oh, Leroy, all this is Judge Hooker's doings.
What?
What a sneaky thing to do. Run off to Virginia Lakes and have the time of his life, toss his old speech in my lap.
Get him. Oh, brother.
I don't have to make this speech. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
Oh, that's right. She ran out on you, didn't she?
Leroy.
Mr. Gildersleeve, aren't you putting on your new suit?
Oh, I don't know, Bertie.
It's getting late. I see people heading for Craft Park.
I'm going to parade with the Boy Scouts, Unc.
Good for you, my boy.
I just saw a man in a uniform pass here with a bass drum. There's going to be big doings today.
Great. Leroy, I think I'll let you take the speech down and give it to somebody on the committee.
Yeah? Who?
Well, give it to Mr. Sprague. He likes to be in the limelight.
Is this a speech here on the table?
What's the speech about?
It says freedom.
And you ain't going to read it, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Bertie, it isn't my job. Congressman Greenhall wrote the speech. It was his job to give it.
Yes.
Then it was the judge's job. And then they wished the job onto me.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Unc, it says here that freedom is everybody's job.
What's that?
The speech says the survival of our freedom depends on everybody.
Oh?
And listen to this. If we want to preserve the liberties we commemorate on this 4th of July, each of us must conscientiously work at being good citizens.
Yes, sir. If you want to do anything right, you got to work at it. If you want to be a good cook, you got to work at it. If you want to be a good citizen, you got to work at it.
That's true, Bertie.
Hey, get a load of this, Unc. Being a good citizen means voting in elections, keeping informed, and making our opinions known to our representatives, serving on juries and school boards, and... Unc, how about that time you wiggled out of jury duty?
Well, I did get off the jury, but I was serving on the school board at the time. Let me see that speech, Leroy.
Sure.
Freedom. Represented. This makes a lot of sense. Our American heritage, the rights and liberties which we cherish, must be made an increasingly vital part of our everyday life. We must work together to keep our freedom, not just take it for granted.
That's right.
By George, we'd better watch it. We could lose some of those liberties before we know it. Come on, Leroy. We're going down to Craft Park and tell them a thing or two.
You got the speech, Unc?
You bet. Right here in my inside pocket.
Boy, if you lost that, you'd be sunk.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, you gotta have something to read. You haven't got it memorized.
Well, I'd get up there and say something. I know a few things, my boy. I've got quite a bit of history right at my fingertips.
Yeah?
Yes, indeed. Did you know, my boy, that yesterday was the 85th birthday of one of our closest neighbors?
Oh, Mr. Bullard?
Mr. Bullard, no. It was the 85th birthday of our country's good neighbor to the north, Canada.
No kidding.
That's right. The United States and Canada have been good neighbors for more years than you could count, working together, each contributing to the prosperity of the other. We have the kind of working friendship that should be a lesson and an inspiration to other countries all over the world. All right, George, let's all wish Canada a happy birthday. Good night, folks.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman. The show is written by John Elliott and Andy White and is partially transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Earl Ross, and Gloria Blondell. Musical compositions by Jack Meakin. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday throughout the summer for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
July 2nd, 1952, The Great Gildersleeve on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
For what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. We got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of the soap opera Claudia, The Baby's Coming, July 2nd, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
Claudia looks all right, doesn't she, Mother?
She looks fine, David.
How much longer you think it'll be?
There's no telling.
You're a big help to a man in distress.
Nobody can be of any help to you, David, not now.
You look so calm, Mother.
So do you.
Do I?
And in a way, I am calm.
Well, I suppose I am, too.
I keep telling myself that this is the moment we've been waiting for all these months.
And that there's nothing to be worried about. Absolutely nothing.
Of course not. You don't have to keep telling me that.
Well, I don't want you to get upset, Mother.
All right. You can keep on telling me if it'll make you feel better.
You're a wise old duck.
David, a little respect. I'm about to become a grandmother.
And not to a duckling either.
A hospital. I could close my eyes and know I'm in a hospital. They smell of ether. And there are many closed doors. Well, where do we go from here?
Let's walk down to the end of the hall. Seems to open out on a terrace of some sort.
The nurse said it would be several hours.
Well, that gives us plenty of time to do whatever we want to do. You know, I'm thinking I'm an awful sissy, Mother.
You? David, that's the last thing you are.
No, yes, I keep wishing it were me.
That's not being a sissy.
It's easier when it's yourself. You know where you stand. You know just where you're at. You're aware. But here we are, you and I, walking up and down a corridor of a hospital, and Claudia's...
She's all right.
Sure she is. Maybe that's why I keep wishing I were her. No, there is a terrace here.
Can we go out on it?
No sign that says we can't. Come on. Would be a hot night. Isn't any air.
Enough for you and me.
Have a chair, Mrs. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Norton, and the same to you.
I'll just walk up and down if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Where's that pipe of mine? Oh, here it is. Wrong pocket.
All of New York seems to be quiet.
It's as if it were waiting, too. Claudia seemed very, very chipper, didn't she?
She always does.
Like mother, like daughter.
And husband. David, it won't be so long.
Of course not. Probably be all over by the time I get this blasted pipe of mine lit. Would have to be temperamental when I need it most. Oh, where are my matches?
You put them in the pocket of your jacket.
Oh, did I?
It's good to come to a hospital when it's for something happy like this. Just think, David, when Claudia leaves here in a few days, you'll be bringing home your first child.
Doesn't seem possible, does it? Say, don't you think we can go in and see Claudia again?
The nurse will tell us when. She's just as well alone for a while.
A husband really stops being important at a time like this, doesn't he? I mean, he's sort of a extra wheel, a spare tire that's gone flat.
A husband's always important, David. You don't have to be standing by Claudia's bed holding her hand. She knows you're there.
Yeah, but she's on her own.
No, she isn't. We're helping. You may not know it.
How would you like something to eat? You deserve a feast, Mrs. Brown. That's the best that I can give you right now.
Give it to me later.
Don't tell me you're not hungry.
Don't tell me you are, Mr. Norton.
Of course I am. I could I could eat the side of an ox with an apple in its mouth.
Go ahead. I'll wait for you.
Later. We'll celebrate, Mother. Hmm?
You bet we will.
I might even coax you to a little champagne.
Won't be difficult. With a toast to the three of you.
The four of us.
Your pipe working?
Yeah, pipe's all right. Now I've run out of matches.
Here you are. I brought along a few extra packs of matches for you.
You think of everything.
We aim to please.
Look, the moon's rising.
It's going to be a clear night after all.
Yeah, it's still hot.
Untie your tie, David. I don't mind.
Untie my tie? Do you think I want to stand around looking like an expectant father?
You do, anyway.
I do not. I'm calm and collected and... Oh, ouch.
What's the matter?
Just burned my finger with this match.
I always thought matches were too short.
Yeah. I think it's warmer out here than it is inside.
Maybe if you'd stop walking up and down.
Let's try the waiting room down the hall.
Good idea.
And maybe we can ask the nurse if
And
Claudia...
maybe Dr. Rowland will be here.
Be careful there, Mother. There's a step up.
I see it.
Here, let me take your arm.
Get away, David. You're treating me like an old woman.
Whenever I try to show off my manners, you and Claudia stop me.
Oh, you poor persecuted boy.
The waiting room's right down there on the left.
I always thought they should hang pictures on the walls of hospital corridors.
Sure you wouldn't like to go to a movie, Mother?
That's the last thing I want to do.
Maybe we could find a Mickey Mouse. Claudia loves Mickey Mouse.
After the champagne, David. And look, you don't have to entertain me.
You're cute, you know it. Almost as cute as your daughter. I only hope Claudia isn't worrying about us worrying. She's such a worrier.
Particularly when there's nothing to worry about.
Exactly. Let's sit down here, Mother.
They look like good, strong, sturdy chairs.
Oh, they'll last all right.
David, I'm not very good at making speeches, but as long as I know Claudia has you, I'll never worry about her.
Well, thank you, Mother.
I could go 1,000,000 miles away. I could even be turning the last page of my book, and I'd feel safe about her.
It hasn't been easy having been a mother and father to your child, has it?
It's been its own reward.
I always thought that having a child would be very private business. Just mine and my wife's, but it isn't. It started much longer ago than that.
I remember the night we had Claudia. It's not possible it was over 19 years ago.
Tonight, time is slow.
It was the winter. I went to the hospital very much the way Claudia came tonight. Only I came alone. Mr. Brown was on a train. He had to leave just a little while before it all started. When he came back 2 days later, it was nice showing him a daughter.
You had spunk, Mama.
No more than Claudia has, David. 200 miles, 2,000 miles, or 200 feet. It's the same distance for a woman.
This pipe's gone out again, honestly. A man can't depend on anything, can he?
Not at a time like this, he can't.
What time is it?
It's still early.
You sure you wouldn't like to get a bite to eat?
I'm positive.
What would I do if you did?
Well, simple. You'd buy me a bite.
I love you. Sitting there with your feet crossed and your hands in your lap, looking as if this happened to you every day.
It has, in a way. You look pretty much like that yourself, David.
You're shaming me into it.
Am I? That's good.
I'm just going to sit here without a thought in my head. I'm going to imagine the day when my son will put on his first long pants, catch his first trout, go away to school for the first time, receive his degree from college, and take unto himself a bride in the image of his grandmother. If Claudia and I have a daughter, I'm going to name her after you, Mrs. Brown.
I'm very touched. Very touched.
It's about, 9:30?
Is that all?
You haven't moved in quite some time, Mother.
No place to go. I'm not wasting my energy on just moving around.
Is that Dr. Rowland coming down the hall?
So it is.
Dr. Rowland. Dr. Rowland, how is she?
Oh, Mr. Norton. Claudia's doing fine, just fine. It will be just a while longer.
Oh.
Just a little patience, my boy. Everything is proceeding according to schedule. Have you had yourself some dinner?
Well, Claudia's mother isn't hungry.
Grandmothers usually aren't, neither are fathers. Would you like to go in and see Claudia for a moment?
Well, if it's all right, I don't want to... I don't think that I would have...
Go right in. She's quite comfortable now, but only stay a moment. I'm going downstairs and have myself a cup of coffee. I'll be back in about 20 minutes. Good evening, Mrs. Brown.
Oh, Dr. Rowland, it's good to see... Well, David, what did he say?
He said we could go in and see Claudia for a moment.
You go in, David.
Well, don't you want to come, too?
I'll wait for you here. I'd rather.
Whoever said anything about mother-in-laws didn't know you. Darling?
David, you back?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
I'm fine. Just fine. Sorry to be taking such a long time over this business. I thought we'd be home by now.
What's the big hurry?
No hurry. It's a nice room.
It is.
Have a good dinner?
Yes, a fine dinner.
I was afraid you wouldn't eat.
Will you stop worrying about me? I'm big enough to take care of myself.
The trouble is, you don't. Mama have dinner, too?
Well, certainly she did. Both of us. We gorged ourselves.
Good. And what?
Well, we had soup, and then we had meat and vegetables, and then we had... Well, I don't know. What do people usually eat?
You're making me hungry. You big bluff.
Then we walked by a movie house. There was a Mickey Mouse playing, but we decided to wait until you could see it with us.
That was very sweet of you. Maybe you better not wait. Why don't you and Mama go and see it now?
Maybe we will. And I'll come back and tell you all about it.
Do that, darling. David?
What, dear?
I hope it's a wonderful Mickey Mouse.
Everything's going to be wonderful. You just wait and see.
You don't have to tell me. I know it is.
Well, I promised Dr. Rowland I'd only stay a minute.
Don't let Mama worry, will you, David?
She's not worrying, darling. The thing for you to do is to stop thinking about us.
No, that's not right. I'm thinking about you all the time. I want to think about you.
You know, I almost wish now that we had...
Oh, darling, you don't. You don't mean that. This is just the way we want everything to be. I'm glad. David, I can't explain why, but I'm not afraid. Because, David, I love you so.
Doing your July 4th marketing today? Don't forget that case of Coca-Cola if you haven't already gotten it. For Coke is such a basic part of holiday merrymaking. And it helps make home parties so easy on the lady of the house. You don't want to spend your weekend cooking and bustling about. With sandwiches and salads prepared, cookies or cake ready, all you have to do is get out that ice-cold Coca-Cola, and you're all set, indoors or out, to lunch or dine refreshed.
Hello, Joe.
Chin up, man. Pretty soon you'll be a father.
Yeah, but not soon enough to suit me.
Daughter or son?
Either one, just as long as it's a son.
Well, you've been counting on a son, though, haven't you?
That's Claudia's fault. She says we were the type to have sons.
Doesn't mean a thing.
Sure, I know.
Hey, look, stop looking so forlorn, David. You're not the only man this has happened to.
Has it happened to you?
3 times.
My hat's off to you, my man. My hat is off.
Well, just fill your pipe and smoke it, David. Everything's going to be fine. Leave it to Claudia.
Sure.
And on Monday. Well, on Monday we'll all find out. Will it be a son, Norton, or a daughter, Norton?
Oh, I wish it were Monday now. Well, so long, Joe.
So long, David. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again Monday at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. These programs star Catherine Bard as Claudia and Paul Crabtree as David. And the entire production is supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
And we'll see you soon. June 2nd, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please visit my webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can hear our shows on demand. You can see a whole list of all the places where you can find our show on demand. Learn more about classic radio collecting. You can also contact me there. That's classicradio.stream is the webpage, classicradio.stream. And tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot of the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.